So in here we should have two brand new versions of a fan favorite Timex. This, the Timex Weekender. Cheap and cheerful little casual watch with some field watch elements to it. And this particular model, I think this is the 38mm model I've already got. It's been around for some time now, so it seems like Timex wanted to refresh the line, give it a new lick of paint, and give it some sizing changes. So I'll show you what they've been up to. I purchased both of these myself on the Timex UK website. Let's see if these new ones are actually an upgrade in any way. So here's one of them. This is the 40mm one. My first impressions are it looks exceedingly similar to the last one, but it's perhaps not as different as I first thought. So this one on the email was marketed as having quite a different profile, that they'd made it significantly slimmer. And yeah, maybe it is a little bit thinner, but overall the profile is extremely comparable to before. It looks and feels exceedingly similar. There are some changes, the first of which I'm not sure is going to go down super well. It has a "we" written there. No idea what made them do that. I hope for their sake it's some sort of charity collaboration or something, because I really do not like the way that looks. Luckily, there are some other elements that are slightly better. So the hands are actually loomed this time, whereas the previous version, or at least this 38mm version, is just literally plain blocks of black. And it's also extremely flat, the handset, you'll notice. Very tight together and compact, and almost looks like the whole thing is almost flush with the dial, so they've done a good job in that regard. And the second hand maybe looks better too. But with this particular one, I have no clue really why there's a Cyclops here. I mean, I've never been a fan of day windows anyway, really. But I don't know, the Cyclops just seems very out of place for a watch like this. I know that obviously it's potentially more practical, but let's be honest, this isn't a real field watch. This is just styled to look a bit like one. It hasn't got the best water resistance. What water resistance was it? So 50 meters, okay, that might be an upgrade from the previous one. Yeah, the previous one was only 30 meters, so that is a slight improvement, although the overall construction is very similar. This, sadly, still a brass case. But let's take a look at the second one, which is a different size. Now this is the one I was more interested in. And that's because I think it's just a more wrist-friendly field watch size, listed online as 37mm. And while I like the colors and the color scheme on this one, which look really good, I'm just not feeling the "we" whatever that's about. And again, it's the same sort of brass case. Here's a direct side-by-side comparison of the two. So here on the left is the new 37mm model, and on the right is the old 38mm model. Maybe I misread the marketing or something, because it's not any thinner. I'll get the calipers out in a second just to check. It does look a little bit smaller from overhead, potentially. The strap also feels a little bit more dense and robust. And I think this has also got the same 50 meters, has it? Yeah, 50 meters again. Also has Indiglow, so we'll give that a quick... Yeah, you can just about see that there, which is pretty awesome technology. But again, the main problem is these two watches, they cost me £85 each. £85. And that's gotta be part of the pricing strategy for these. They pitch them at an overly high price so they can discount them at some point and make you more likely to buy, perhaps. Because a brass-cased watch, which will corrode and wear much worse than a steel one in the long run, for £85 it's a world away from being competitive now. Obviously, the Chinese have got this handily beaten, but you've even got rivals like Loris making titanium field watches for this sort of money or less. Well, I think this one, when I bought it, it was on a grey market site, but it was like £25–30. This is titanium, quartz, 100 meters water resistance, and the only department it really loses on is luminescence. But look how thin this is. I'll link this one in the description, by the way. I think it looks fractionally different now. They revamped it slightly, so it might look a bit different than this one. But unless there's some magical secret ingredient in these, I'm struggling to see why I would pick one. I'm just going to listen to it real quick and see if the movement's any louder or quieter than before. Oh no, it's still a incredibly loud movement, so really loud ticking noise too is a disadvantage with these. If this watch was like 30 quid, that might be fine, but 85 quid, I mean, really? Anyway, let's check the proportions, try it on wrist, and then we'll test the Indiglo as well. Oh, I also forgot as well, the old version, the 38mm, when it came shipped on a nylon band, would only come with a single pass. So slightly less secure, but crucially for these more style-oriented models, is thinner than this one, because this one ships with a double NATO style band, which looks better, but I'm not sure it's going to look better on wrist. So there is the new 37mm Weekender. I noticed also it says Weekender on the dial, which I actually think is unnecessary, man. I mean, the last one was quite nice in a sense of it being quite minimal, not much text on the dial at all. There's a quick look at it. It fits very, very well on my 6¼ inch wrist, this one. And the strap looks okay as well. It's not the worst. I can't wait for the TikTokers and YouTube Shorts creators to hype this to high heaven, despite the fact that it's really questionable. Let's try the other one. And this is the 40mm. Also not actually that far off fitting me, surprisingly. I think it said 40mm at least. Band is extremely entry level. With these cheaper ones, half the time it's worth going for the nylon band to get more durability. But yeah, there's a quick look at that. So maybe a fraction slimmer with the 40mm than the other one. I can't remember exactly. Here's your close-up of the 37mm. With the Wii on the dial. Maybe Weekender, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't work for me. It's not an ugly watch, just a little bit tainted. And then the larger of the two. So the larger one across the middle is just a fraction under 40mm. Lug to lug of 48.3, so not the biggest by any stretch. Not including the strap or the Cyclops, it's about 10mm thick. And then with both of those things, it's 12, just over 12.5. Then the smaller one of the two, 37.1 wide. Lug to lug, 43 point something, 43.9, about 9.3mm, not including the strap or the crown. Including both of those things, it's about 12.5mm. And then for comparison, here's the older, the last gen 38mm, which was actually 38.1 wide, lug to lug of 45.6, thickness of 8.9 without the strap. So yeah, it is thinner. And then with the strap, it's 10.3. We'll test the Indiglo. So that's the Indiglo on the 37. Different color from the last gen one. About the same performance though. And we'll just test the 40mm too. Wow, okay, so as you can see, that is activated, believe it or not, on the left. The darker dial results in way worse Indiglo performance. So definitely bear that in mind. That's almost a non-feature unless you're in pitch black. Interesting. So yeah, sadly, as much as I was looking forward to this one and instantly bought them to try out, I feel like this is just a bit of a half-arsed release, unfortunately. I'll affiliate link both the Loris and the Timexes in the video description if you do want to check them out. Not quite sure Timex knew what they were doing with this one, sadly. They've got some other good watches that have come out recently. I'm just not convinced this is one of them.